Hi children, today we are going to continue with our study of science. Lesson number 1, Nutrition in Plants, and this video is part 2. Points for revision are: nutrition can be categorized into holophytic and holozoic based on the kind of raw material organisms taken from the environment and the way it is processed thereafter. Autotrophs can synthesize their own food, where heterotrophs depend on other organisms for food. Autotrophic plants prepare food in the form of carbohydrates through the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplasts of green leaves and requires sunlight, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, and water. Water and minerals are absorbed by the fine root hairs present in the roots of plants. The rate of photosynthesis increases when a plant receives more sunlight. Heterotrophic plants can be grouped as parasites, saprophytes, insectivorous, and symbiotic plants. Let us look at some important terms for us to remember. Holophytic nutrition, organisms, that is green plants, which obtain nutrition from inorganic matter from environment, that is holophytic organism. Holozoic organism, organisms that feed on complex matters and break it down to fulfill their energy and material requirements. Autotrophs, organisms that make their own food, are called autotrophs. Heterotrophs, organisms that depend on other living organisms for their food requirements. Photosynthesis, the process of making food by green plants, is called photosynthesis. Chlorophyll, a pigment responsible for the green color of leaves, is called chlorophyll. Chloroplast, special cells found in leaves which contain chlorophyll. Chloroplast are the cells in which you have this green pigment called the chlorophyll. Let us continue with the important terms for us to remember. Insectivorous, organisms which consume insects, are called insectivorous. Stomata, small pores on the undersides of leaves through which exchange of gases takes place, is called the stomata. Parasites, organisms which grow on or inside the body of other organisms and derive nutrition from them, are called parasites. Saprophytes, organisms which grow on and derive nourishment from dead and decaying organic matter. Symbiosis, interaction between two organisms that live close physically and benefit from each other. Okay, so let us now look at some exercises. Take the correct answers. The first one, which of the following show holophytic nutrition? And the answer is mango tree. Holophytic has to do with plants. All the others are not plants. They are other living organisms. So mango tree shows holophytic nutrition. Chlorophyll is present in special structures in cells called, we discussed that, it is chloroplast, right? Cuscuta is a kind of A. Autotroph, B. Saprophyte, C. Parasite, D. Insectivorous. It cannot be an autotroph, neither can it be a saprophyte. So what is it? It has to be a parasite. Okay. The fourth one, insectivorous plants usually grow in soil deficient in oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and all of this, all nutrients. 3 of the following form of symbiotic relationship. The odd one is lichens, algae, fungi, or bacteria. And the answer is lichens. Fill in the blanks. The first one, green plants are called dash as they make food on their own. Autotrophs, they are called autotrophs. The leaves of plants appear green because of the presence of dash in them, because of the presence of chlorophyll in them. The third one, dash bacteria present in soil are capable of fixing nitrogen. Rhizobium, yes, rhizobium bacteria present in soil are capable of fixing nitrogen. Fourth one, dash are the organisms that depend on other organisms for food and shelter. It's a parasite. It depends completely on other organisms for food and shelter. Fifth one, dash like bacteria and fungi release nutrients from dead plants and animal wastes. They are decomposers. So write T for true and F for false. All the other organisms except green plants show holophytic nutrition. Is that a true statement? No, it's a false statement, because holophytic nutrition is found only in green plants. Sunlight does not affect the rate of photosynthesis. Is that true? No, it is false. Sunlight affects the rate of photosynthesis. Guard cells that surround stomata regulate their opening and closing. That's a true statement, right? Plants cannot utilize atmospheric nitrogen directly. That is also a true statement, because they need the help of rhizobium bacteria which fixes nitrogen in the soil. Fifth one, Venus flytrap and sundew are examples of parasites. Is that true? No, it's false again, because Venus flytrap and sundew are not parasites, they are insectivorous plants. Okay, so there we go. Question and answer now. Answer the following questions in 1 or 2 words. The first question is, what type of nutrition is found in non-green plants? It's not holophytic nutrition, it's holozoic nutrition. Remember, it is holozoic nutrition. Give examples of an autotroph. Plants, they are autotrophs because they make their own food. Which gas is released during the process of photosynthesis? It has to be oxygen, otherwise we will never exist. Plants, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Name the bacteria capable of fixing nitrogen in soil. Which is the bacteria? It is rhizobium bacteria. Name any one insectivorous plant. It has to be Venus flytrap. Okay, we have to continue with more question and answers. Answer the following question in around 20 words. The first one is define nutrition. The process by which an organism obtains food, nutrients, and then utilize them to perform various life processes is known as nutrition. What is holozoic nutrition? Most of the animals take complex organic food from the environment and break it down in the body to get energy and other nutrients. So this type of nutrition is called holozoic nutrition. All the animals that depend on green plants, they are of this particular category called the holozoic nutrition. Okay, answer the following questions in around 20 words. We are going to continue with it. What are hosts? The organism which provides food and shelter to a parasite is called host. Remember that the organism which provides food and shelter to a parasite is called host. Write the reaction of photosynthesis. See this reaction. It's carbon dioxide plus water equal to carbohydrate plus oxygen. Is it a complete equation? Carbon dioxide plus water is equal to carbohydrate plus oxygen, but you cannot forget that it has to take place in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll and sunlight, they are very important ingredients in this chemical reaction, which is called photosynthesis. What is rhizobium? Rhizobium is a bacterium which is capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen to a form which can be readily used by plants. Remember that. Rhizobium is a bacteria which is capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen to a form which can be readily used by plants. There is no other way of fixing atmospheric nitrogen, which is so important for plant. So rhizobium bacteria, they play a very important role, and they establish a symbiotic relationship with leguminous plants like peas, etc. So rhizobium bacteria is capable of fixing nitrogen to a form which can be readily used by plants. Now we are going to do the next part. Answer the following questions in about 50 words. Give the main type of heterotrophic nutrition in plants with example. And the answer is, the mode of nutrition in non-green plants is called heterotrophic nutrition. The mode of nutrition in non-green plants, because they are not able to make their own food. That's why they are called heterotrophic nutrition, because they depend on green plants for food. The different types of heterotrophic nutrition in plant are, the first one, parasites, that depend on other organisms for food and shelter. For example, Cascuta and mistletoe. Remember, examples are Cascuta and mistletoe. Saprophytes, they derive nourishment from dead and decaying organic matter. For example, orchid, fungi like mushrooms and bacteria, they grow on dead and decaying organic matter. You see a plant fallen down and you will find a fungi like a mushroom growing on that tree that is fallen down. So saprophytes, they derive their nourishment from dead and decaying organic matter. Insectivorous, they consume insects as part of their regular diet. Usually insectivorous plants, they grow in places which are deficient of nutrients in the soil. So in order to get nutrients, they consume insects. Examples of them are Venus flytrap and sundew. Symbiotic plants live with other plants, sharing shelter and nutrients in a way in which it is mutually benefited. Symbiotic plants, they live with other plants, sharing shelter and nutrients in a way in which it is mutually benefited. Examples are lichens, rhizobium and legume. Let us do the next question. Describe the symbiotic mode of nutrition with example. When plants live with other plants and share shelter and nutrients in a way in which both the organisms are benefited, this kind of relationship between two organisms is called symbiosis. Remember, whenever a plant lives with other plants and share shelter and nutrition in a way in which both the organisms are benefited, दोनों को फायदा मिलता है. वो पौधे को भी फायदा मिलता है जो उस पर उग रहा है, और जिस पर वो उग रहा है उसको भी उससे फायदा मिलता है. This kind of relationship is called symbiosis. For example, lichens have one fungal partner and one algal partner. Okay, they have fungal partner and an algal partner. Algae are autotrophs, and they synthesize their own food. Autotroph होने की वजह से वो अपना भोजन खुद बनाते हैं. Whereas fungal partners, they absorb water and minerals from the material they grow in. तो fungal partner क्या करता है? उन पर जिस पर वो ग्रो करता है उससे वाटर और मिनरल्स को एक्सट्रैक्ट करता है और अपने एल्गल पार्टनर को प्रोवाइड करता है. दे ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड शेल्टर टू द एल्गल पार्टनर. ओके, सो देयर इज अनदर एग्जांपल, Rhizobium bacteria, which is capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen to a form which can be readily used by plants, but they live in the roots of leguminous plants such as peas. We have to grow leguminous plants in the field in order to fix nitrogen into the soil, because Rhizobium bacteria, they live in the root of leguminous plants and they are capable of fixing atmospheric. There is no other way of fixing atmospheric nitrogen into the soil in a way in which it can be used by the plant. The next question, differentiate between autotrophs and heterotrophs. Living beings can be grouped into two based on their mode of nutrition. Okay, they are autotrophs. The mode of nutrition in which green plants prepare their own food is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Remember that green plants, they prepare their own food. They don't depend on any other organism for food. They create and they make and they prepare their own food, and that is why they are known as autotrophs. They fall into the category of autotrophic mode of nutrition. For example, green plants. Heterotrophs, organisms which cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on other organisms for their food requirement, are known as heterotrophs. So non-green plants and animals, they are heterotrophs. Non-green plants because food can be prepared only with the help of chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is that green pigment which gives green color to the plant. So if the plant is not green, then it is not preparing its own food. So they have to depend on other plants for their nutrition. Parasitic and symbiotic mode of nutrition. These are heterotrophic form of nutrition. Parasites, they depend on other organisms for food and shelter. For example, cuscuta and mistletoe, they depend on other organisms. Parasites, they depend on other organisms. Parasites एक दूसरे के साथ में कुछ भी नहीं बांटता, वो जिसके ऊपर में ग्रो करता है उससे वो फूड भी लेता है और शेल्टर भी लेता है, और जिसके ऊपर में वो ग्रो करता है उसे होस्ट कहते हैं. The one on which a parasite grows or the one where the parasites find shelter are called the hosts. And the examples of parasites are cuscuta and mistletoe. Symbiotic plants, they live with other plants and share shelter and nutrients in a way which is beneficial for both organisms. Remember, it is mutually beneficial. आपस में एक दूसरे को फायदा पहुंचाकर ये दोनों पौधे एक साथ रहते हैं. Examples, lichens or Rhizobium legume. Next question, how are nutrients replenished in the soil? Plants absorb minerals from the soil. The amount of mineral present in the soil keep decreasing. These nutrients need to be added back to the soil to enrich it. So there comes the role of decomposers. Decomposers play an important role in replenishing the soil with nutrients. Decomposers like bacteria and fungi release nutrients from dead plants and animal waste. Decomposers like bacteria and fungi release nutrients from dead plants and animal waste. So decomposers वो क्या करते हैं, सॉइल में फिर से वापस न्यूट्रिएंट्स को लेकर आने का काम करते हैं. Growing leguminous crops in the field is another way of replenishing nitrogen in the soil, because Rhizobium bacteria that is capable of fixing nitrogen live in the root of leguminous plants. So we have to grow leguminous crops in the field so that we can somehow replenish the soil with nitrogen. Okay, so there we are. Some homework. Complete the exercises, that is, tick the correct answer, true or false, fill in the blanks and all the question answers in your notebook neatly. and please take a picture of the same and send it to us through WhatsApp. इसका पिक्चर लेकर आप हमको WhatsApp से भेजिए. Memorize all the questions and answers and the rest of the exercises thoroughly. जो भी क्वेश्चन आंसर्स आप लिख रहे हैं, जो भी एक्सरसाइजेस आप लिख रहे हैं, टिक द करेक्ट आंसर्स हो या ट्रू और फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट्स हो या फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स हो, शॉर्ट क्वेश्चंस हो, लॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस हो, सबको आपको याद करना है अच्छे से. That's all for now. Okay children, goodbye and stay safe. God bless you.